What is up, everybody? What is up? Saturday Night Fever is live. Saturday Night Fever is live. How's it going? Post your biggest concerns for this season. Post what excites you the most for this season, and post the top 5 MVPs you believe are going to be on offense and on defense. So I want 10 total players from each of you as who you think will be a pinnacle for this next season. Saturday Night Fever is live. Okay. Thank you for letting me share that for just a second. Sorry for the dead air. Wow. So Saturday night, we're in the Ides of March. March Madness is just ahead, just around the bend. Around the bend. You know, we're got to sing some Creedence Clearwater Revival. Yes, we do. That is obligatory, Sage. That is obligatory, my little guy. What is he doing? You are bizarre, little boy. You are bizarre. That bizarre is actually not an insult, Sage. That is a very good thing. Here we are in the Ides of March, and it's very like where LSU have only done a few spring practices, and then they have this break, which is very strange. But spring break, it lands on the academic calendar. And Kelly and company planned this way for some reason. They wanted to have this, start with a few practices, and then have this lengthy break. And these practices, as we described in the last show that we did on the Friday night show this last night, that LSU are actually tackling this season. LSU are actually tackling this offseason. They're actually putting forth the effort to tackle and practice tackling. Something they haven't done the last 2 years under Brian Kelly, and it has shown in games. 2022, we had some veterans and some talented guys that would change some games that made it kind of paper over the cracks for half of the season. But, man, there were some 40-point games, 50-point games to Georgia, and then, of course, the disaster special teams on top of it. And so now those, you saw those defensive mistakes and errors and just the complete lack of any idea of what they were doing exposed in 2023 when you didn't have those veterans as a bit younger of a team that you had to deal with. And you saw Matt House just not being able to get his message across, his defense across. In his defense was terrible. As we've explained and gone on and on and on about 10 yards off the ball, 15 yards off the ball, even the defensive linemen off the ball, we've all seen it. You've all seen it. Disastrous. And now there's a chance, I believe, with Blake Baker, someone who's coming in there with a lot of fire, a lot of enthusiasm, the complete dead opposite of Matt House in tone and vibe. And then you've got someone in scheme, the complete tonal opposite. And instead of guys who are kind of chill and then may cut your throat later on in the roster, just kind of hang back loose while they were coaching guys in practice, this staff is in your face. They're hands-on. They want the absolute best. It's not ever good enough for them. They just want you to keep pushing and keep grinding because it's just where LSU's defense was at. We cannot be there again. We cannot go there again. And so you've seen an urgency from this defensive staff that sticks out to me early on. And, like we said yesterday's show, there's a few things that stood out to us very quickly. And one of those things was the buy-in from the defensive players with this staff. But also equally on the other side of it, that defensive staff has come in and they've attacked things. They've attacked things. They've attacked the day, every single day, every single meeting, every single practice they've had with these guys. And it doesn't have to be about cultivating, an on-field chemistry right now. It's all about cultivating a relationship, and we're working towards that on-field relationship. We're working towards that on-field continuity. And I think these guys will get there because a lot of these guys have played a lot of snaps together. Think about guys like Major Burns, Sage Ryan, how many years they've been just together in locker rooms. Okay. Harold Perkins, Will Campbell. Even though Will Campbell's not on defense, I should include him. But just the list of we do have a sprinkling of veteran leadership on defense, just a sprinkling, but it's in the right spots. Greg Penn III would have been better than Will Campbell. So Greg Penn III, Harold Perkins. You got even West Weeks, someone who I think would be a smart addition in some coverage packages at linebacker. He's really good in coverage. You've got some options there. And Major Burns, of course, you could put him at strong safety, move him closer to the line of scrimmage, let him attack the football. I think that's where he excels the most. Don't get him stuck in coverage. There's a lot of things about this defense going forward. There's a lot of talent at corner. You think surely under Corey Raymond, these guys are going to be so competitive over the spring, summer, and fall that going into week one, we're going to have the right two guys out there at corner, the right guy at nickel, or, it could be Harold Perkins at nickel, in some type of nickel / whatever role, like a star role. The right two safeties, the right linebackers, however many on the field at one point, two or three, or four. And then the right edge guys, you got Kevin Peoples, who we made sure to really give a good shout out to in yesterday's show as just a complete dog of a coach. And Swinson, I think, is due for a big season under Peoples' leadership. Deshaun Womack is he was due for a big season last year. He just didn't get the opportunities. Had he gotten the opportunities, who knows? But this defense is what all eyes will be on. That just stands out number one. Like, this defense will have so much to prove. And against USC, week one, will this be a big test for LSU's defense, or will this be a game where LSU's defense might perform well, but it will be hard to gauge how good they really are just because USC is such garbage. You know what I'm saying? Like, offensively, they are in such transition that LSU's defense were able to take advantage of that. That could be something that might spur LSU's defense on for the rest of the season. That might be just the antidote that these type of guys need. A pick six would do wonders for a guy like Sage Ryan's confidence. You already see him rising in his leadership. He's going to stuff like he's running camps with players at high schools and doing the reading, the Reading Across America program that the players did in some of the schools there in Baton Rouge. He's a guy who, like, a pick six in a game to start the season, it would be huge. Same thing goes for Harold Perkins, just getting a couple sacks or something to open that season, a forced fumble. That type of stuff just gets a defense going. Zy Alexander gets a few pass breakups, doesn't allow a touchdown, These are the types, weeks 11, 10 tackles, and you only allow like 17, 14 points. Like that right now sounds like a dream that is unattainable for this defense, right? Just because of what we've been, and we are short on depth right there in the defensive line. But I feel like this staff are going to be creative enough to overcome some things, at least early. Maybe the defensive line and some of their creative ways to overcome lack of bodies at defensive tackle, maybe that could be exposed or exhausted by week 8, 9, 10, But for at least the first few weeks of this season, until we figure out maybe a better plan, or someone rises on the roster and solidifies that spot alongside probably Tank Guillory, it's going to be very interesting. This defense might have a soft center, but with the linebackers, I think you've got probably the best position group on the team, linebacker position. DBs, very interesting. What's up, Barry? How you doing, my guy? How you doing? Everybody, I want you to post your concerns for this season. What concerns you most? What excites you most, though? What excites you most about this team? About BK 3.0, year 3 with under BK. And then who are going to be your top 5 MVPs on the defensive side of the ball, in the offensive side of the ball? And, we've talked a lot about defense. We talked a lot about, certain aspects of the offense. And people have focused a lot on Garrett Nussmeier. We haven't really, we've written about Nussmeier. We've talked extensively about Nussmeier. But one thing I feel like we haven't touched on with Garrett Nussmeier is just what an opportunity this guy has right now. This guy has an opportunity to come in 1 year, not in 2, but in 1 year, make it a lot quicker of a transition than Joe Burrow or Jaden Daniels, possibly, and win a Heisman, or at least get to New York City, and then get this team for sure in the college football 12-team playoff. And hopefully, at least the semifinals, you're in that title game. That's more than a successful season. And then what does Nussmeier do? If Nussmeier does not take LSU to the absolute peak of the tippity top of the mountaintop, but under Nussmeier, we get to the semifinals of the CFP. He's second for Heisman voting, say. Would that be like, okay, I'm coming back for that another year? I believe so. I believe you would then see him return for that second season of eligibility, that last season of eligibility, because I think he would sniff Heisman, he would sniff national championship, he would sniff development and building a huge national brand that, you look at Burrow, you look at JD5, what they were doing just exploded when they returned. It grew in size, importance. And even with Jaden Daniels losing 3 games, even with Jaden Daniels not even competing for the SEC championship game, it was so impressive what he accomplished. And on the scale that he did it, it was something to behold. And because of that, they had to pay attention, stop everything, and LSU were able to sell that vision with some expert social media by campaigns by the boss Cody Warsham there at LSU Creative. This dude's an absolute freak. And then you had some really effective internet campaigns, some social media posts. Even our posts, when we'd post about Jaden Daniels, they would be getting close to 200, 300,000 views. It was crazy. People wanted to hear arguments, and people wanted to argue and debate about why Jaden Daniels should or should not be Heisman. But for the most part, people were like, holy shit, what this guy has accomplished. You just cannot turn away. You just cannot turn away. And that's really where LSU were able to take advantage with selling that vision. So here's all the film. Here's all the proof. Here's all the stats. And I think Garrett Nussmeier can be that next type of guy, that transcendental kind of force. He doesn't have to do it in year 1. He's got 2 years here. But I think because he's been, at LSU for so long, he's been with Kelly now for 3 seasons. He's been in that quarterback room for 4 at LSU. He's, played in games since he was a true freshman, thrown SEC touchdowns as a freshman. This is a kid who has developed and evolved over the years, and now he's got his chance. And LSU potentially are going to surround him with weapon after weapon after weapon through the receiving core, the tight ends. You've got some running backs who, while we're really short on depth at running back as well, the guys we have are fucking fantastic. So where is Garrett Nussmeier going to take this team this season? Where is Garrett Nussmeier going to take this team in 2024? I want your answer to that question. Where is Garrett Nussmeier taking LSU football in 2024? I'll give you my answer after we read some of yours. Where is Garrett Nussmeier taking LSU football in 2024? What are you saying? You're saying he's going to win a championship, Sage? Yeah, Sage he's a Nuss guy. He's saying nope, he's going to win a championship. I don't think the background thing will let you see him too clearly there. Where is Garrett Nussmeier taking LSU football in 2024? I want some answers. Don't spill that. Don't spill that. Everybody wants some more oats? He's loving this honey bunches of oats type thing. This Cascadian Farms organic oats and honey granola. And he's just like devouring this stuff. He just like oh shit, there it goes. Shit. And it wasn't even Sage. That was Dad. Oh fuck. Oh no. No. That was Dad. That was Dad's bad. Oh shit. Spilled the oats. Well, another bag of oats done gone. Where is Garrett Nussmeier taking LSU football in 2024? Is he taking us to the promised land of the college football playoff championship game? Are we going to win that championship game? Is Garrett Nussmeier going to have a tough year one, a tough adjustment period? Are guys like Kyron Lacey, Chris Hilton Jr. also going to need, another season? This is Kyron Lacey's last, but to really develop. And this year, maybe CJ Daniels has like 900 yards, leads the team, but like that's about it from your receiving core. I'm not too sure. I think this receiving core really impressed me with what I saw in the first few days of practice. I feel that this receiving core could really elevate this offense far beyond some type of conservative, safe, like we got a new quarterback, we got a great offensive line. Like we're going to be very transparent to defenses if we do that type of stuff. And so don't just try and protect Nussmeier. Like literally let this guy throw the damn ball. Let this guy go for it. Let this guy sling it. Like, because I'm telling you, if you unleash Garrett, you let Nuss really dictate games like we saw against Wisconsin, where really we had to have him throw the football because we had to come back from double digits twice at different points, 2 different points in that game from double digits. And Nuss threw for 395, 3 touchdowns, did have the ill-advised pick, but it doesn't matter. He won us the game, and if we had any type of defense playing any type of average performance out there, we win that game by 17. win that game by 17 if we have an average defense playing against Wisconsin. But instead, we had to literally come from behind at every second, almost like just how Jaden Daniels had to throughout the season before. So Nussmeier, I feel, already has a lot of experience in game with adversity too. It's not a ton, it's not much, but when you're trying to lead comebacks in the SEC title game on the road against the national championship winning Georgia Bulldogs, 2-time national championship winning Georgia Bulldogs, and you're down a lot of points, you're starting quarterbacks out of the game, and you come in there and you throw for nearly 300 and a couple scores. I mean, the dude has some cojones. The dude has he seems to really elevate his game through pressure, and it seems like his dad is like molded him for that, like since birth. Like, my sons are going to be quarterbacks, damn it. I mean, that's what his dad has done too. That's what his dad always did. It was be a quarterback, and that's what his younger brother is starting to get some big time offers now. Colton Nussmeier. I don't know if you've seen that, but Colton Nussmeier, I met him when LSU played Georgia in an SEC title game. And he was too young at that point to even be like on any recruiting site or anything like that. And I'm like, bro, you're a quarterback too, right? And he looked over at me and was like, yeah. Like, are you dumb? Like, yeah. I'm like, God, I'm sorry, but of course you are. You're a Nussmeier. Like, and it's just kind of funny how he's become, he's getting offers from all over the place. I mean, let's look at Colton Nussmeier and some of the offers he's been getting lately. Playing at the same high school that Garrett played at, Marcus High. 6'3", 175. Okay, so TCU, Baylor, Texas Tech, Murray State, Wisconsin. Kansas State. So he's got a Wisconsin offer. He's got a Texas Tech offer. He's got a Baylor offer. He's got a TCU offer already. So, like, I mean, Texas Tech, Murray State. I mean, he's barely playing. He's barely started. He's class of 2027, so he's still got plenty of time. But if you've watched any of his footage, the kid can spin it, and it's something in that family. It's something in the blood. Because Garrett, if we watch the Wisconsin game, the way Garrett manipulates the pressures against him and making just outrageous throws, I'm like, oh my God, this dude is a freak. Let's get that on the thing there. A Colgate ad.
Be dentist-ready with Colgate Total.
See, just Nuss is just a
Nuss
freak. Just
throwing back shoulder.
Oh, the way he throws that comeback right there. You kidding me?
Nuss throwing back shoulder. The Kyron Lacey.
That's the Lacey as well.
Throwing back shoulder.
So him and Lacey already got some really good
Nuss
Hot damn chemistry.
throwing
Boom.
back shoulder. The
That's just
Lacey
beautiful.
from the Badgers.
Next
24.
year, Lacey's going to stay in bounds, catch that, and run for 25, 30
to the
yards.
outside. Taylor.
And see,
Taylor
this is
breaks
something
the
else that we saw a lot of underneath
outside.
action
Taylor.
to
Taylor
Mason Taylor. Look at
From
how
the Badgers,
Nuss
24.
just uncorks this thing.
to
I mean,
the
that
outside.
thing is out of
Taylor.
that wrist.
Taylor breaks the
The
tackle.
motion is so
And he's
beautiful. It's
brought down.
crisp.
They're
It
going to mark it at the
is
6.
flat.
Jackson in the backfield.
This is the Harold Perkins touchdown, yeah.
And that is
Oh
Harold
my
Perkins
God. What a block from Mac Markway and Caleb Jackson right there.
at the 6. Jackson in the
Watch
backfield.
Caleb Jackson, like, boom. And then look at that. Hit. Takes that hit.
Jackson in the
Yeah, let's see
backfield.
Markway. Yeah.
And that is Harold Perkins.
Harold Perkins with the brilliant second effort touchdown there, really. This is what I really think is going to be a big component. Watch
Nussmeier.
Caleb Jackson right here. Dink.
Slings it out to Jackson.
And
Jackson.
Jaden
inside
Daniels
the
may
50.
have run for 10 or 15 yards last year. This year, Garrett Nussmeier and this offense are going to be doing a lot of this.
Nussmeier.
You're just a blocker. You're just kind of hanging there, but you're hiding basically behind the offensive lineman. It's such an easy little thing. And it's not even really a route on paper. If you drew the route, it'd be like this little fart thing. It'd be like, oh, you just basically like, and then you just go out and you turn, and the ball's right there. And then you look
Slings
at
it
all
out
that
to
space.
Jackson. Jackson.
Because
inside
of all the
15.
threats we've been hitting them with left, right, and center
Nussmeier.
the last
hands it
quarter and
off.
a half. And then Caleb Jackson's running the football, play action, or just it
Swing.
looks like it's basically an empty with him as an extra blocker.
Nussmeier.
Like right there, he looks like he's going to do nothing but block, but there's no one even for him to block.
Nussmeier.
No, it doesn't even dawn on anybody, and he's
Slings
open
it
there
out to
and
Jackson.
tons of space.
Jackson.
I mean,
Inside the
this
15.
technically next year, I think that's going to go for even
Nussmeier.
longer, 30
Hands it
yards.
off.
Next year, I think it's going to be
Jackson.
drawn up a little bit better next year and run a lot better by Caleb and Nuss, and that probably goes for 30 yards. There's Caleb scoring one of his 3.
Caleb
I think he
Jackson,
scored
the
4
freshman out
touchdowns.
of
One of his 4
Alabama.
touchdowns this
Haven't seen
season.
neighbors yet here in the second half. Nussmeier throwing.
Look
for
at
BTJ.
that
He's
touch
got
and
it.
precision.
Touchdown.
And that route as well by Brian Thomas
Throwing.
Jr.
Looking
But
for BTJ. He's got it. Touchdown.
the separation,
Neighbors yet here in the second
is-
half. Nussmeier throwing. Looking for
look at that. There's not too much separation until right before that, and then he just
Haven't
turns
seen
on the
neighbors yet here in the
jets.
second half.
And it's a
Nussmeier.
brilliant pass from Nuss. Look at it. These guys are stride and stride. This is why Brian Thomas Jr. is going to be really special to NFL over there. These guys are stride for
Throwing.
stride.
Looking for
And then
BTJ.
Thomas
He's got it.
Jr. turns it on. And Nuss just basically, in a way,
Haven't
would have
seen neighbors yet
overthrown
here
a
in
lot
the
of other
second half.
receivers
Nussmeier
because he knows
throwing.
how
Looking for
fast
BTJ.
Thomas Jr.
He's
is
got it.
and will
Touchdown.
just get there.
LSU.
A lot of guys would have been stuck
Half.
maybe
Nussmeier throwing. Looking for
right here,
BTJ.
like diving
He's got
for
it.
it.
Touchdown. LSU.
Thomas Jr. runs underneath him. So CJ Daniels, is he that guy who can be like that, where Nuss can really just uncork it and just unleash it down the field?
Haven't seen neighbors yet here in
And
the
you're
second
gonna run
half.
underneath
Nussmeier
it?
throwing. Looking for
Look at
BTJ.
that thing.
He's
That's
got it.
beautiful from Garrett Nussmeier. The touch.
Off a couple of plays ago. Nussmeier throwing to the outside.
Ooh,
And
and
what's
see, that's a
Chris
touchdown to
Hilton
Chris
Jr.
Hilton Jr., a guy who's going to have to
touchdown.
really rely on next year.
He had limped off a couple of plays ago. Nussmeier throwing to the outside.
Oh,
and
that's
what's
just sick.
Chris Hilton
That's just
Jr.
sick.
in? Yes, touchdown.
what if, though, what if Hilton Jr. has another injury? Well, I think there's enough
Your quarterback of the future would set
firepower
up
there.
right now. Nussmeier going up top
receiver-wise
again.
to overcome
Looking for
a few
Hilton.
injuries here. There's another big play from Hilton Jr.
Going up top again. Looking for Hilton.
Kind of a weird pass,
Right
and
now.
Hilton
Nussmeier
adjusts to
going up
that
top again.
right
Looking
underneath the
for Hilton.
coverage.
And he makes the
I mean,
catch.
that's beautiful. Beautiful receivership right there by Chris Hilton Jr.
Inside handoff to Noah Kane.
Oh, Noah Kane.
Inside handoff to Noah Kane.
Too bad.
2024 with Nussmeier
he's
quarterback
gone. That
joining
would have been
us.
great
Welcome.
to have him as an
Yeah,
extra
you missed a
running
heck of
back
a game.
there.
The best bowl game of the season so far.
Nussmeier throwing. Got a guy. Kyron Lacey.
Lacey,
breaks the
I
tackle.
believe, went for,
Lacey
what, 90
brought
yards
down
in this
at
game?
midfield.
What a
Lacey breaks a tackle. Lacey
so far.
Nussmeier throwing.
Look at that.
Kyron Lacey. Lacey breaks a tackle. Lacey brought. Nussmeier throwing. Got a guy. Kyron Lacey. Lacey breaks a tackle. Lacey brought down at midfield.
What a throw.
That's the connection.
2 seconds on the play clock. Nussmeier looking for Thomas. He's got it. Touchdown, LSU.
That was to win the game. That was to win the freaking game. And Nuss just, boom. I'm as cold as ice. Willing to sacrifice for LSU. Oh, baby, it's true. Don't fuck with us because we trust in us. My God. Now, one thing that really concerns me for this season is if this offense, if Will Campbell, Emory Jones go down with an injury. How does that immediately change your entire offensive? Like, if you lose guys like that, if you lose DJ Chester at center, we have such an offensive predicated, blueprint that we're scripting up right now. We maybe need to have some type of plan B just in case we get some injuries to that O-line and we need to kind of audible a little bit. We can't completely trust the offensive line on every single play. Sometimes we need to just get it out of Nuss's hands really quick. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes we'll have to throw on 4th and 2 if Campbell's out, Emory Jones is out. We have to get a new center. Chester's gone down. Like, injuries can happen in a season, and people act like it's we have them, they're good, and it's like, yeah, and then we don't have them after week 2. At least now we have a coach who's going to play the best players. Blake Baker, I believe, hopefully this is not becoming a pattern, because this season, if guys like Whit Weeks don't play, if guys like Deshaun Womack don't play, you kind of, okay, something's going on here. This is becoming a weird, disturbing pattern at LSU. Why aren't the best players playing? Sorry about that, everybody. We had to come upstairs. My apologies for that. We had to switch location for a second. Yes, we've got quite a bit of people watching this right now. I'm wondering why I'm not getting many comments back. Why people aren't, saying like, "Go to hell on," like you're wrong. You guys, we just got Barry Kennan saying, "Let's go." No one is challenging what I'm saying. No one's saying where Garrett Nussmeier is going to take LSU football in 2024. And there is 58 of you watching just from YouTube, and there's probably more watching from Twitter. So there's 54 as well from Twitter. So if you believe something strongly about this 2024 team, or you just don't know, you don't want to take some crazy educated guess on your part, you just want to let things play out, that's fine as well. And I think that's probably what's going on. LSU baseball is in swing. I get it. That people want to be more dialed in with the baseball team that just barely won a national championship. Women's basketball are just about to be in the March Madness for them. Women's March Madness with a national championship to defend as well. And sometimes it's, hey, I'm into every sport. There's kind of like a very like defensive, angry type of thing from LSU fans that if you're not into every single sport, you don't love LSU as much as someone else. And I think it's kind of weird, because I'm someone who, I love LSU football more than any of their sports. I'm just going to say it right now. That's my favorite LSU sport. But yes, I roll with LSU for every damn sport. Women's basketball, I watched every single one of those games that I possibly could. I'm on a cruise last year when they're playing in the semifinals against Virginia Tech and the national championship game, and I am watching every second of those. I was watching the championship game against Iowa in a casino on the cruise. That was awesome. I'm literally just sitting there just like, I think I smoked half of a pack of cigarettes watching that game, because I'm just like, I can smoke inside on a cruise. This is hilarious. Overkill. But I love watching the LSU baseball. I mean, those games they had in that run, the College World Series was unbelievable. Some of those walk-off moments, extra innings moments, just crazy. The pitching performances, the comebacks, the hits from Tommy Tanks, Dylan Cruz. I mean, you had some gutty performances. You had machines like Paul Skeens, the Skeens machine. You had some guys who would like struggle and then deliver and get a lot of shit. And then I'm trying to remember that guy's name. Everyone was giving him so much shit, and then he like hit some of the biggest hits of the World Series, College World Series against Florida. So I'm Jordan Thompson. So I'm saying like, I love LSU. It's in my blood. Whether it's whatever sport, gymnastics, even include gymnastics in that, which I don't really watch gymnastics. I'm going to be honest here. I've never watched LSU gymnastics, but if I did, I would I would love it and rep LSU and be like, let's go, Livy, kick some ass. That's what I would do. But LSU football will always be my favorite, because I feel when LSU football is at its best, so is everything else at LSU. I feel like the profitability and the apex of visibility from LSU football being successful is so beneficial for the whole rest of the university and the athletic department. Every single one of the sports. And you see, I mean, look at what 2019, just the national championship in 2019, did for the entire university. LSU were the center of the college football universe from fall 2019 to at least, August 2020, until we had that pooper opener against Mississippi State in 2020. Before that, we were the center of college football universe because of that national championship. Now with that Jaden Daniels Heisman, the Joe Burrow Heisman, are we a quarterback universe? Are we the QBU universe or university? Let's just call it universe. Are we a quarterback universe? You got Garrett Nussmeier, Ricky Collins, AJ Swan, Colin freaking Hurley, who's just barely 17. Absolute freak. You've got Bryce Underwood, also committed. 5-star number 1 overall quarterback in the country. Something LSU had never done before. And you got Jane Daniels, Joe Burrow just won the Heisman trophies. 2 in 4 years. It's for me, it shouldn't be pressure for Garrett Nussmeier. There should be a lot of excitement because I'm just excited to watch him play. And I think for him, he's like excited. Like, there's touchdowns for me to go get. There's plays for me to go make. There's wins for me to go earn. Like, I don't think this is a moment of like, oh God, I gotta really follow Jaden. Blah, blah, blah. He knows he's a different quarterback. In fact, because he's a different quarterback in so many different ways, that probably helps him be able to shake that. If he were almost like a dual threat, just like Jaden Daniels, maybe that would be a lot more difficult because now you're expected to also get 1,000 yards, but throw like Jaden Daniels did. That might be something where that might be a little tough to shake. But since Garrett Nussmeier is such a different style quarterback, profile, athleticism, physical makeup, athletic makeup, everything, it's made it, I think, a little bit easier because we're going to be such a different offensive setup where he's going to be a point guard, he's going to be distributing the football. Whereas, you could say Jaden Daniels, as much as he distributed the ball, he was almost like an Allen Iverson type of guy, where he was going to take it to the basket himself and create off the dribble, all that stuff, the crossover. He was going to take over as much as he would facilitate at times too. You're going to see the flip side of that, Steve Nash, John Stockton version of quarterbacking with Garrett Nussmeier. And so, it's going to be, it'll be different because we're used to having Jaden Daniels for the last 2 years where he was like a cheat code where it was like, oh yeah, okay, crap. Everything's breaking down. We need 10 yards. It's 3rd and 10. Crap. Well, just run it. Just have them sneak out away from these guys and just run it. It was like a video game where it was like, okay, you're watching it at home, you're watching it on TV, and you're seeing Jaden Daniels about to be tackled, and it's like, no, he's just going to get through these guys. Jaden's going to beat them there. And it's just like it was so easy. And that was why I'm so glad that he got the Heisman, because his athletic greatness and superiority is so just that he had to win it from that alone because it was just so good. And so I don't think there's too much pressure on Nussmeier to like, hey, I gotta do this. Like, he's just gonna like, hey, I want to be great like they were. That's where the pressure may be, like achieving what they achieved, winning the Heisman, getting to New York, taking the team to another level. Not just winning another 10-game season. Like, this is another year where it's, hey, we want to play in 17 games by the end of all of this. That's going to be a gauntlet of the likes LSU has never done before. But, I feel like our offensive line, our offense could handle that. We're deep enough. Maybe not at running back, but we could figure it out. using the passing game to supplement the running game. But defensively, I'm so worried about our defensive line, guys, gals, everyone. I'm so worried about that defensive line being able to withstand everything for 17 potential games, which is what it will take to win the national championship. 17 games. Make sure of that. There's no buys this first one, right? It's all like everybody plays in that first round, right? That round of 16. And then there's a quarterfinals. Or sorry, not round of 16, round of, let's see. So there's 12, of course, 13 for the SEC title game, 14 for the college football playoff, and those are on campus sites. Campus sites TV to be determined. Interesting. So you'd get that one game possibly at home. 10 days later, 31st and the 1st. There's the Fiesta Bowl, the Peach Bowl, the Rose Bowl, and the Sugar Bowl for the quarterfinals. So there's four games there. So the first round has 4 games as well. 4 games in the second round, and then there's 2 in the semifinals. Interesting. Okay. Let's put this on the screen. Does anyone have any questions about that setup? It's so weird, and it's potentially entertaining as hell. It's potentially a riot. Can you imagine 2004, the 03-04 season, finishing like this? Oh my God. LSU, USC, Auburn, Oklahoma, just in the Final Four. That's fantastic. That would have been epic. But now you've got a quarterfinals, a first round, and we're going to really see. Because if a team coming out of that first round is able to win everything, a team that would not have qualified unless it was, expanded. Then it's going to justify everything. Okay. So the selection committee is going to rank the top 25 teams at the end of the season. Okay, and the 12 playoff participants consist of the 5 highest ranked conference champions plus the next 7 highest ranked teams. Okay. There is going to be a bye. So the 4 highest ranked conference champions will be seeded 1 through 4 and receive a first round bye. So you're going to be just assured, most likely, the SEC team's going to have that bye. A Big Ten team's going to have that bye. ACC team's probably going to have that bye, or Pac-12, and then another miscellaneous conference potentially. So Big 12, or whatever the hell it's going to be called. Wow. Okay, so they're going to have a first round bye and meet the winners, lowest ranked, potentially winners of the first round in that quarterfinal. Interesting. Okay, I love that setup. I gotta say. I don't want it to expand any further than that, though, which is what they're already starting to do. And it's like, oh, you're gonna just ruin something you already had that was starting off well. Now you're just gonna ruin it. I just make them play more games. College athletes playing more than 15 is crazy. 15 games is nuts, but it's kind of like, hey, if you're going to win a national championship, let's have it be a little bit of a gauntlet. And having a semifinal, a final, okay, plus an SEC title game, like, okay, you have proven that. 17 now, potentially, if you're in that first round. LSU are going to get in this. And if we do not, it is a colossal failure of a season. Because 12-team playoff, everything favors the SEC as far as the rankings and the committee selections and who's going to get in over other teams. Like LSU would be selected for this if they can at least 11-2, something like that. Maybe even with 3 losses, we could still get in this thing, depending on who we lose to and when. So I would really think there's no excuse for LSU not to get into this round of 12. It would be shocking for us not to get into the round of 12. So really, I mean, you're looking for one of those bye spots because I think the bye, it's going to be, I don't know, would you want the bye though? Because maybe that's too long of a layoff. Or maybe you get someone hurt in the SEC title game in early December. You go through all these award season things that are just draining. That bye maybe becomes crucial. Let's look at that schedule again. So the quarterfinals games will be played basically when the games would have been played anyways. The 31st and the 1st. The first round games on the 20th, 21st. So like you get a week and a half off or so before that first round game from the SEC title game. So potentially LSU could lose that SEC title game to Georgia or whoever, and still play in the college football playoff with the 12 team. I love that this is set up this way because I think you're going to find out who the real champion should be and will be. And every single season, you're going to actually feel good about how this turned about, as long as they don't keep expanding this to where it's just insane. But I have a good feeling about this. I have a good feeling that 12 teams, perfect setup. You know, there's actually the Sugar Bowl in New Orleans is going to be part of the quarterfinals. So we have a big chance to literally kind of host a quarterfinal game there. So Orange Bowl and the Cotton Bowl will be the semifinal spots there in Florida and Texas. And then you've got the national championship game, which will be in a really cool stadium, Atlanta, Georgia's Mercedes-Benz Stadium. But still a chance to host a quarterfinal as well, which might be the trickiest game of the whole 12-team thing. So, you know, I love where college football is going in that respect. There's some things that you can worry about with college football, of course. Some of these things Nick Saban has recently said, valid. Very valid. Some of it sounds like a guy who maybe, oh, crap, I can't cheat anymore. Everyone's paying players now. I'm not the only one. Shit, I've been priced out, basically. Like, that's another way to look at what his comments kind of were. But in another way, there are some serious things about college football that unless certain things change, get reined in, get kind of figured out, it could become a sport that just goes off the rails very quickly. And I would hate to see that. And it can happen very fast. Since I'm really going to be the only person, I guess, talking on this thing, I'm going to shut it down for the night. And we're going to have another show tomorrow where hopefully we'll have some more give and take. Everybody have a good rest of your night. Go Tigers.